Inside this building, the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, 2 champions left to crown. 1 ice dance team this afternoon for the 4 Continents Championships, and we will find out who they are later today. That's a live look inside the rink here. Nick McCarville on the Bridgestone Ice Desk welcoming you here on our final day of competition. It's been a great weekend of skating, and we expect a really competitive free dance. Welcome to all of you inside the Honda Center. If you want to hang out with us here, we're right outside section 208. We'll be here after the free dance as well to break it all down. And if you're watching on Facebook and on YouTube, you know the drill. You can go ahead and comment on your thoughts, ask questions to our panels. Let's go ahead and look here at the standings so far. And Sinead Kerr, this is some of the best teams in the world. We're in for a great free dance.
Oh, we really are in for a great free dance, and it's so close after the rhythm dance. It's crazy. And you're right, it's like a mini Worlds. All we're missing is the French team. But this top 4 teams are powerhouses, and they're each going to bring something new, different to the table for this free dance. I wrote down just a couple of sound bites just here on what each team can bring, and I think for Hubbell and Donoghue, it's strength and power. For Chalk and Bates, it's personality and excitement. For Weaver and Poget, it's class and finesse. And for Piper and Paul, they're different and they're unusual and interesting. So that's my take on it, and I think it's going to make the free dance so exciting. Awesome.
Sinead Kerr is our ice dance expert. We also have Brooke Castile and Michael Weiss. Now, you guys are 4 Continents veterans. Sinead, this is your debut because Europeans, that is where you made your mark on the international stage, of course, before going to the Olympics. And I think it's a special anniversary here for your Europeans. There we go. 10 years ago, you and your bro. That's awesome.
Them were the days. That was a cool moment.
Very cool. Well, welcome. You've been a part of the Ice Desk team now for a while, but welcome, and happy to have you all along here for a preview of the free dance. And you mentioned those top 4 teams, obviously so strong today, though, Brooke. The interesting thing is that you've got Hubbell and Donoghue in the lead, you've got Weaver and Poget in 3rd place, but they're going to have to try to protect those leads in the free dance.
Absolutely. Chalk and Bates and Gillis and Poirier are both stronger in their free than they are in their short dance, especially this season. And so that puts a lot of pressure on the other teams to really have to put out a clean performance. And when you feel like you can't make any mistakes, that's definitely a much bigger challenge. And also, this is kind of a mini nationals, not just a mini Worlds, because when you look at that graphic, it was 2 American flags at the top and 2 Canadian underneath, and they're competing against each other just as much as they are all 4 for the podium.
Yeah, and it makes it interesting too, because a lot of people felt as though it was Gillis and Poirier. They won the free dance at Canadian Nationals, and for Chalk and Bates, they have such a strong free dance, Mike, in that section of free dance overall. But these are 2 teams, as Brooke is saying, they didn't have necessarily a traditional approach into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I talked to Weaver and Poget earlier, and they took the season off, and they're just back. They won the national championships in Canadians, and now they're back competing on international ice for the first time again. But they've been touring, and when they were touring, they were doing their rhythm dance, they were doing their free dance. So I really think that helps. When you have the opportunity to not worry about the judges and just focus on the performance level of it and the audience interaction, that's what you do in shows. Well, when you do that and you rehearse that and you practice a program that way, that transfers really well to competitive ice too, because now you're involving the audience and you're impressing the judges as well.
I like that we're coming in with some different storylines for all these teams. It's not just everyone has been on the Grand Prix circuit. You've got these different momentums to carry through as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you would have to say that on paper, it's Hubbell and Donoghue's to lose. I mean, they've come in having won both Grand Prix, having won the Grand Prix final, having won US Nationals. So the momentum behind them is really strong. And in ice dance, that matters quite a bit. However, you're looking underneath, and these teams are just right there. So, I mean, they have to go clean for sure to win. And the others have just got such strong free dances. It's going to be so tight at the top, and I'm so excited to see who comes out of this in first place.
You talk about, Sinead, the strength and power of Hubbell and Donoghue, and we saw them win the national championship, Brooke, a couple weeks ago in Detroit. They just bring so much energy, so much power, especially into that free dance, which they've reworked this season to make it even more powerful.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages they have coming in with so much momentum and experience just within this season, they're the only ones who, besides Poirier and Gillis, who have done a full season thus far. The other two teams right behind them, this is only really their second competition, so they're just going to keep getting better and better. But Hubble and Donahue are just a class act. They have come in as the #1 team, and I think they expect to stay there.
Okay, so we're going to see how it goes here this afternoon. It is the free dance. Let's go ahead and check in on our schedule. Obviously, it's coming up here just in a few minutes for those of you inside the Honda Center. Exciting afternoon of free dance action. Then we're going to be right back here outside section 208 for the Ice Desk. And then tonight, if you don't have your tickets for the exhibition gala, along with Rusty Kath, you've got Adam Rapon with you tonight. That'll be exciting. Rusty inside the arena. It's back to you. Okay, for all of you watching online, we're going to continue the discussion. And, you know, we were talking about in our production meeting this morning about momentum, right? Because Gillis and Poirier didn't make the Grand Prix final. They wanted to be there. Hubble and Donahue, they won the Grand Prix final. Those other two teams, as Mike is mentioning, they didn't have that traditional approach. And I also feel like for Chalk and Bates and for Weaver and Poirier, we've almost been allowed to miss them a little bit out there.
Right, and you're right, when we were talking earlier, we were saying just how much momentum Hubble and Donahue have in paper coming into this event. But also, I feel like off the back of US Nationals, I feel like there's a lot of buzz in the arena today about Chalk and Bates' free dance. I feel like theirs was a big crowd pleaser. And so I feel like whilst Hubble and Donahue have the actual momentum from competition, Chalk and Bates seem to have this buzz. So I haven't seen them skate live yet, and I'm excited to see their free dance. I was actually just talking to a fan just before we came on to do this Ice Desk, and they said one thing that they feel with Chalk and Bates with this free dance is it allows them to show their personality more than any other free dance. So I thought that was an interesting point too, that it's almost like a breakthrough for them in showing that different side to them.
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at their rhythm dance. We can continue the discussion on Chalk and Bates because, Mike, we saw that they were able to in Detroit. Their free dance is freeing, but just seeing them back out there after the injury that she had, the surgery she had, they've been great to watch these last few weeks.
Well, I think with both Chalk and Bates and Weaver and Poirier, as you mentioned, they've been gone. So it's like that absence has made the heart grow fonder. It's one of those where it's like when people are away, it serves twofold. It motivates them because it's like, okay, now I'm fresh. I got a little bit of a break. I'm now more motivated. I'm fresh and ready. But also, from the judge's standpoint and the perspective of the audience members, they're like, we haven't seen them in a while, but it's almost like that ex-girlfriend you met. You mentioned that before. It was like the ex-girlfriend is always amazing. It's like they were gone and now they're back. It's like, okay, now it's really cool. And I think there's kind of a feeling with both Chalk and Bates and Weaver and Poirier.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost also like when you see a really great movie for the first time or read a really great book and you instantly want to start over or see it again. Whereas with Hubble and Donahue, we've seen them all season, so we know what to expect. We're not bored. They're amazing, but when you have someone coming in later, it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting, and we haven't seen enough of it yet, and we want to see more. We want more and more and more.
It's really interesting that point you make because it's nuanced. It's nuanced in figure skating in general, but it's extra nuanced in ice dance.
Oh, right. I mean, that's the thing. In ice dance, sometimes it's the smaller details that people will miss that are the ones that make the most of a difference. For example, we're just looking at Chalk and Bates there. I mean, one of their strengths I've been speaking about for the last couple of days is their lifts. That element for them, and they got a chance to show one lift in the rhythm dance, but they have 3 lifts in the free dance. And for them, it's a huge strength and a huge advantage for them now that there's the +5 GOEs. Those lifts should be getting +5 GOEs. The other couples are good at lifts. It's not that they're bad. It's just that Chalk and Bates are stratospheric with their lifts. Like, they're so good at them that you can't give the other teams +5s. If you're giving them +5s, you have to give the other teams +4s or +3s.
And you talk about the details really making the difference. That's what I noticed in the rhythm dance was with Caitlin and Andrew, basically a slight bobble on one thing he did, and I saw it right when it happened. I was like, that's probably going to be the difference. And
it was tiny, but it was...
It was very small, but when a point separates you, that's exactly the difference.
Yeah, and we look at that scoreboard to start off, and it's so close. And also, you talk about the importance of 4 continents. It's hard to describe what it means to maybe the singles and the pair skaters, but when we go into Worlds in a few weeks' time, that's where everyone wants to peak. this is really important for these 5 of 4, especially of the best teams in the world, minus the French team, minus Papadakis and Cicerone. It's really important to walk away here on top of that podium.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important in every discipline, but I feel like in dance it's even more important because people are watching. There's a kind of natural pecking order in dance because they are all so close, they are all so good. So whoever comes out on top after 4 continents, which is the last competition before the big one, before Worlds, they're going to be looking like the favorites. So it is a very important event for dance.
So it's really exciting, especially here in the free dance, because of the fact that we have so much freewheeling going on. The rhythm dance this season, it's the tango, the pattern, it's a little more constrictive. And one of the teams that we've been so excited to see the free dance is Gillis and Poirier. We've got vision here of the rhythm dance. And Brooke, you're actually kind of matching Piper today, yellow on yellow, but they just bring so much zest, so much fire to the ice.
Actually, when she saw this jacket, she told me she loved it because it was like her free dance or her short dance dress, rhythm dance. Sorry. They also are +5 lifters. They are unbelievable. She is so strong. I am so impressed with the way they do everything in and out of every element. I mean, you don't see it as much in dance. Everything's a transition, but they have especially unique transitions and difficult ones.
No, you're absolutely right. And I've thought that from them for the last few years, actually. And I think it's appreciated, but I'm not sure people appreciate just how difficult their transitions
this
are.
lift is sensational.
It's like she's floating.
And it's not only that it looks great, it's really difficult and done so well. When you do anything that's extremely hard and you make it look that easy and that awesome, you have to get a lot of credit for that.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
Mike, you're a big fan of Paul's facial hair, is that right?
I do. I want the porn stash back.
I love it.
He played that well, the facial hair. They're just 2 people, too, that they invite you onto the ice with them. And I think that was another interesting point that Shanae was making this morning as we talked about this show for all of you, is you have to either sort of open the ice and invite people in, or you have to sort of create that story and want them to be a part of that story, and they do both so well.
You're right. Yeah, it is. It's 2 different ways of expressing
I didn't
yourself
put that
on the
very
ice.
well. You could say it better.
No, you actually put it really well. That's exactly it. You know, there's 2 ways of expressing yourself on the ice. You're either outwards to the crowd, and you're really. I mean, Chalk and Bates's last part of their free dance will be like that tonight. They're out to the crowds. They're expressing themselves to the judges in that kind of a way, and then you get the more insular performance where you're performing to each other, and the crowd are just invited to join you. And it's interesting seeing the 2. And certain teams are better at one or the other. I feel like Gillis and Poirier are great at both.
It's interesting too, they have been kind of 4th place a lot, off of podiums a lot, and I think that they're sick of it. They really, really wanted to make a push this year and make a splash, especially with, 1 or 2 retirements. There weren't very many after the Olympics, and I think that they're really, with this free dance, capable of making a push for the podium, and that's really where they want to be.
Well, it's interesting, at Nationals, they were down by 2.11 points, 2.11. Here, they're down by 2.51 from Weaver and Poget. And so can they make that climb? There's certainly the points to be made up. And today, Weaver and Poget skating to a Dennis 10 tribute free dance. It was a piece of music that Dennis had worked on with Nikolai Morozov. Of course, we know Dennis 10 was brutally murdered this last summer. A very tragic story within figure skating. They know him well, and they've chosen to do a free dance. So that will be a tribute to Dennis today. We'll watch for that from Weaver and Poget. Actually, Michael Weiss had the chance to talk to Caitlin and Andrew. This is after the rhythm dance. Let's check in on that.
Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poget just finished your rhythm dance. You guys had taken off the Grand Prix season, and then you came back and again won the Canadian national title. What's it like to be competing back on international ice?
It feels a little bit different. It's a lot brighter than the show, than the show world. But we're so excited to be back. We know that we have unfinished business here in the competitive scene, and we have messages to share. And so we're happy to be here right now.
And you guys have been performing your competition programs in shows a lot. Do you feel like that helps a lot with the performance level, or?
For sure. It was a different preparation for these competitions, obviously being on tour and sleeping on buses and being in different cities. But we used it as a great asset to our performances and making sure that we treated it like the first time doing the program, because it's the first time those audience members saw it every night. So we just wanted to go out there and give it our best every time.
And this is a very competitive dance event here at Four Continents.
Absolutely.
What would it mean for you guys to come away with winning a title here?
It would be, I got chills just thinking about it. It would be a really great stepping stone for us. We've been Four Continents champions before, so we're excited to shoot for that title again. Ultimately, the goal is worlds, but it would be a good testament to our ability to work through anything to get where we want to go.
Well, it's very tight in the top 3 right now after the rhythm dance, so good luck in the free skate.
Thank you.
Mike, great to see them back. Also, good reach. Gosh, Andrew's so tall.
How intimidating. He
He's
is
so
like
tall.
such a hulk of a man, and I felt like so insignificant. I'm like, please, sir.
Talk to me. Answer my questions.
You know what made it even worse was there was a light in between us, too, so
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
close enough to her.
excuses.
That's
to
what
do
he
the interview.
says.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's always
Now
tough
you know what
to-
it's like to be short.
It's always tough doing those kind of interviews. But what sort of sense do you get from them? Because we haven't seen them much. Obviously, they won Canadian Nationals. But what was the sense after that rhythm dance? They're in 3rd place, obviously, and they're pushing to go higher.
Yeah, the sense that I got from them was they were disappointed. I think they wanted to be in first after the rhythm dance. And I think, like I said, I noticed the bobble on his, and I think that was the difference. And if not, it would have been within less than a point difference at the top. Right now, it's a point, but they may have been in first after the rhythm dance. But I think it was disappointment, but it was also, I think it was comfort because they were, they're feeling like they're back now into the swing of things. It's one thing to do nationals. It's another thing to go and start competing internationally again. And I think they were comfortable with the work that they did on the road and performing it in shows. And now they're ready to do it for real.
And actually, even to be within a point of Hubble and Donahue, who have been competing all season and have done 2 Grand Prix and a Grand Prix final, that's actually pretty good coming in after having not done anything to be that close with a little mistake. So
That's what makes this event so exciting and interesting is all 3 of them, really 4, but the 3 in the top right now,
Yes.
any of them could win easily, no question. You could put any of them there and it wouldn't be a dramatic thing. It would be completely normal that any of them could win. And that's just really cool to watch. Like, it's such an exciting event. And
well, quite often in ice dance, there's a very obvious,
Yeah.
oh, they're going to come first, they're going to come second, they're going to come third. Whereas in this one, it's not obvious. It's going to be very much what they do on the day that matters, and that's exciting.
yeah, absolutely. They're all so good. I do not envy the judges. They're all great.
We talk about how tight it is in the standings, those scores from the rhythm dance. Let's go ahead and take a look one more time because you've got 3 teams also that have all been world medalists. I mean, these are the cream of the crop, and Hubble Donahue in the lead. Chalk Bates there right behind. Look at how close that is. That's .78, and then you've got Weaver Poget just 1.4 points off the lead, and that can be made up very quickly. We haven't talked much about Hawaii and Baker. They're there. They're going to look for a good performance ahead of the World Championships next month. But I feel like in true Bridgestone Ice Desk fashion, we've done Hubble Donahue a favor here because we haven't spoken too much about them. And maybe they're going to win the title today, but it all goes back to me as you wrote down here pointedly, the strength and the power that they bring.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They're such a strong team, and with the free dance they have, I think it really shows that off. And they're long lines, the twizzles they do are fast. Like, everything they do is great. I mean, it's all the free dances are so different. I think it's very much going to be a case, like as I was just saying to Brooke, very much a case of on the day who looks the best, which is really exciting. It's not, there's no pre about it. It's like, oh, in the moment, who is best?
And you can never discount how much confidence is as a weapon. And they have a ton of confidence, and I think that is going to be a big difference maker for them. They come in with the most confidence.
Well, they've won everything.
Yeah,
they won all their Grand Prix, won the final, won nationals. They're just like, they're
winners.
And that in skating, that is, exactly. It is the #1, probably most important thing you want to be feeling going into an event, and it's helpful, and they have it.
And if they weren't feeling confident, they actually didn't need to do 4 continents.
Yes.
Which is another thing we touched on, because they're running a risk coming into this event, having just won the US title. They're running a risk coming of not winning. So I feel like they must be feeling confident coming into this to even come here and compete. Like, no, we feel like we're going to win this. We're going to do it.
Yeah, it certainly felt that way. Does the top 4 change at all? I'm putting you on the spot. Does the top 4 change at all when we come back for Ice Desk?
I'm going to say no.
Oh, okay. Brooke?
Overall, no. I think there might be some changes in free dance.
Yep.
But
I agree,
think
yeah.
overall, I don't think it's going to change. I do think Chalk and Bates are going to win the free dance, though.
I don't.
But they have to win by
sorry,
like less than a
come back to me.
point. They have to win by like less than a
Yeah,
point to
and it's
win
ice
and not
dance.
win.
It happened at the Olympics.
I know. I'm saying that
Come
would
on,
be pretty,
Michael Weiss,
pretty
what's
exciting.
your hot take? We're ready for it.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Chalk and Bates are going to win.
Well, when I said top 4, I thought you meant the top 4 as in anyone else
Oh,
sneaking
yeah,
into
yeah.
the
No,
top
I mean
4.
the order of
Do you
the
mean
top
the order?
four.
Oh, so
Yeah,
the,
of course,
the
yeah.
order of the top 4 for me, I think will change.
And?
Yes. All right, so I'm going to say Chalk and Bates,
There you go.
Hubble, Donahue, Piper, and Paul.
Wow. So
I always
you're
call them by
switch-
their first names.
Yeah, yeah, Gillis
They don't
Poirier.
have
You're
second names
switching
apart.
everything up.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to find out what is going to happen here this afternoon. It's the free dance at the ISU4 Continents Figure Skating Championships. The first group is on the ice right now. You can check out things on NBCSN. Also get that NBC Sports Gold Figure Skating Pass right after here, you guys. After the free dance, it's just getting underway. We'll be back here on Bridgestone Ice Desk with Mike, with Brooke, and with Shanae Kerr to break it all down. It's time for the free dance. See you guys later.